The latest Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer has been out for only a few days and has created plenty of discussions, a huge amount of theories and speculations. The new Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer was a true masterpiece, showing off how beautiful and amazing the game will be when it's finally released. I'm Bailey, and today I'll be giving you a full, huge, in-depth breakdown on the latest Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer, giving you all the information you need to know and going into further detail on some of the stuff you may have missed. I've been working on this RDR2 full breakdown for some time now, compiling a load of information on each point on the trailer and diving into what some of the scenes may mean. Before I begin, guys, I know I say this consistently throughout the majority of my videos, but if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button since it helps out so much, because I'm your best source for Red Dead Redemption 2 and everything Rockstar Games related. Also, a massive shout out to Red Dead Network, RDR2 memes, and the members of the GTA forums for helping find and link some of the points in the trailer. Just before I get started, I suggest you get a nice beverage and a selection of your favourite snacks and prepare yourself for the ultimate breakdown. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Just before we dive into the trailer full breakdown, I read you the brief description Rockstar released along with the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer. Red Dead Redemption 2, the story of outlaw Arthur Morgan and the Vandelay gang as they rob, fight and steal their way across the vast and rugged heart of America in order to survive. Coming spring 2018 to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One systems. So now that you know the brief information on RDR2, let's finally begin. Straight away we see the beautiful world in Red Dead Redemption 2, which Rockstar Games have been working so hard on. From this scene we can see from right up to the mountains to the fields where our character is, Arthur Morgan. Just from this opening shot we can see how vast and great the map is in the game. The amount of high detail on everything here, the grass, the sunrise, the clouds, the water passing by, it's just all magnificent. With this being Rockstar's first game for next gen consoles, they are taking full advantage of everything they can do with this game. Fortunately, so far an Xbox One X or PS4 Pro release has not been announced yet, but in due time it should be. If LA Noire is getting remastered for next gen consoles and 4K systems, then Red Dead Redemption 2 will definitely be. Just imagine how beautiful this game will look in 4K. It will probably be the best looking game out there to date. Anyway, back to this shot. Arthur must have been using this location as a campsite area to rest up. As we know in Red Dead Redemption, using a campsite to sleep at allows us, the player, to save the game and let time pass by about 5 hours or so. Maybe in Red Dead Redemption 2, using a campsite will have the same features but also have other benefits, such as having a well-rested sleep will improve our shooting or agility. Possibly to reuse this campsite without purchasing a new one, we'll have to put out the campfire, which Arthur is doing here. In this next shot again we can just see how beautiful and stunning the world is. Just from watching it, this game will give us a true sense that the world is truly alive, with all the attention to detail and everything. As Arthur rides his horse through this area, a deer is alerted and runs away. This happens also with the birds in the background. The response from the animals are true to their nature and their movement. Rockstar have taken gaming to a whole new level and are setting the bar so far that no one else will be able to reach it for quite a while. The unique markings on the horse are a nice touch, and it's nice to see not just a basic colour. Also, the smallest of details of the grass being pushed away as the horse trots through it is very impressive. Let me not forget that horses in this game have ball movement animations. Great job, Rockstar. In the background we can see smoke rising from the ground into the sky. This is probably where Arthur is heading to. It could be a signal from somewhere or just from a campfire. Also, from this closest shot from behind of Arthur, we can tell he was the primary character in the release screenshots and the character from the first trailer. Straight after impressive shots of the world of Red Dead Redemption 2, we get a look at this character. This character is taking a little nap, but from his body positioning tells us he has fell asleep while sitting up. Either he was waiting for Arthur and fell asleep, or he was trying to stay awake and keep guard. Around this character we can see used tin cans, which is probably used for food. The tin cans could indicate that this character has been up here for quite some time, but for what reason we don't know. If we look more closely around him, we can also see that he has some sort of stick structure that he has built for use. For reason is unknown. Directly behind the character is a rifle or shotgun, and next to it is a set of arrows for possible use in a bow.
You got some money for me, boy?
Arthur doesn't have a care in the world that this man is sleeping and comes straight up to him and knocks this character and wakes him up. From Arthur kicking him, the character immediately reacts and we get a closer look at his face. The facial animations and reaction in this shot is perfect, with it almost being so realistic in the way he backs off. We get our first piece of dialogue in the trailer and the first we hear of Arthur Morgan, our protagonist.
I've seen your name in our ledger.
We can see more of the person's self-made camp. Scattered around this camp are more tin cans, once again telling us that this person has been up here for a very long time. Next to Arthur we have a campfire which the person is probably using to cook his food. We can see even more little attention to detail with a chopping board in the background with pieces of food laying on top of it. Directly behind Arthur we have a hide stretcher which the person is using to stretch his hides that he has obtained from animals, and possibly using this stretched hide to sell to make money. Our first introduction of Arthur just shows us how confident he is and not giving a damn who this person is by taking a spoonful of the person's food he was cooking. The second piece of dialogue Arthur delivers tells us more information about him. 1. Arthur is a very bold and confident character and doesn't care who you are, in this case it's this person, he will make sure he gets what he came for. And 2. Arthur says our ledger, which must mean Arthur is not an outlaw out for himself, but he's part of a gang and he has came to collect money from this person. This must mean the reason for this person hiding away and making this self-made camp is because he's running from Arthur or from who Arthur works for, in which he owes them money. Other attention to detail here is the soup spilling out of the ladle which Arthur takes a sip of. This shot just shows us how vast and large the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 really is. This shot is beautiful and shows the different types of terrain and scenery, from up high to the mountains to down below with the forest and lakes. I believe that the person on the edge of this mountain must be Arthur riding his horse. The clouds in the sky will be a great indication for us the players of the different types of weather in the different areas on the map, which will be very useful. From further analysis of this shot, it gives us a clear understanding of the location Arthur is at. If many of you remember, an apparent leaked map was shared and was claimed to be the map of Red Dead Redemption 2 a while back. The map detailed locations and key points in the world of Red Dead Redemption 2. After comparing the leaked map with this shot and the landmarks we can see in the distance, we can confirm that the leaked map is real and matches up with the specific point we can see Arthur at now. The lake running through the world in the background is called Flatiron Lake. We can tell that the mountain Arthur is currently on is named Big Valley, which is very fitting, and opposite him is the Heartlands. We can also see on the map that next to Big Valley is the Grizzlies, which from the colour on the map must represent snow. If we look in front of Arthur, we can see a snowy mountain region, which further confirms the leaked map. The next shot we have is a western stagecoach driving through this town, but as it does, mud splashes off the coach wheels, with again more attention to detail.
You're a wanted man, Mr. Morgan.
Here is an open shot of a town which I believe is the same town as the one we saw in the release screenshot. The screenshot was this one from where Arthur is on his horse in a town of a night. The buildings match up and follow the same layout as this one. From my Red Dead Redemption 2 screenshot analysis video, I discovered after detailed analysis that the town Arthur was in of a night was indeed Blackwater that was in Red Dead Redemption. In this shot in the trailer, we cannot see it here, but there is a building located at the end of the town called Blackwater. Since Red Dead Redemption 2 is a prequel, this, from what it seems, is the town of Blackwater from when we saw it built up in Red Dead Redemption. Now I'm going to go into further analysis of this town. Starting from left, we have a gunsmith store. The gunsmith store could give us the player the option at a price to purchase weapons, apply weapon modifications, and customize our weapons. However, with customization, the game would have to stick to its area. The sign on the gunsmith also says weapons sold, all items bought. This could mean we can sell our weapons or miscellaneous items here, such as hide or loot we discover from dead characters. So the next building along is a law office. This is either the central office for the lawmen in the town, or either the law office is for when you commit a crime and wish to pay off your bounty, or wish to follow out bounty hunting, similar to the option in Red Dead Redemption. We're now going to move on to the opposite side of the road and focus on the drugstore. The drugstore could be where our character can purchase first aid items or purchase remedies, which will give our character special abilities for a limited duration after being consumed. Some of the special abilities could be based on other Rockstar game character abilities. Some could be as followed John Marston's Deadeye or Max Payne's heightened slow motion mode. The following building past the drugstore is a place where the player can rent a room. Rent rooms could be similar to in Red Dead Redemption, where if you purchase a room in a town, you can use it as a save point and change outfits. As we can't see the other buildings, I won't go into further information on them. If we look around the town, we can see 2 horses hitched up, which could mean that we can do the same again like in Red Dead Redemption. We get a piece of dialogue from a mysterious voice here, confirming that the character we have seen in the trailer so far is called Arthur, and also it gives us a brief understanding of who he is. A wanted outlaw. From the voice, many of us are unsure who it could be. Some people are already guessing that it could be a younger Edgar Ross. I will admit that the accent and the dialogue does seem like it could come from someone who is a lawman, but claiming it is Edgar Ross is too soon to call until we get more information from Rockstar.
Maybe when your mother's finished mourning your father.
We have a woman on her knees mourning of a gravestone whose we don't know. The gravestone doesn't give us a name, and neither do the rest of them. The lighting that breaks through the trees on the left is simply gorgeous. Also, the snowy mountains that we see in the distance could be the Grizzlies from what we can go off from the leaked map.
I'll keep her in black.
Followed with the dialogue in the background, it links up now with the shot of Arthur threatening a younger person. But for what reason, we don't know. With the younger boy in the scene, RDR2 memes on Twitter had a great theory, which I think is almost perfect, is that this boy is a younger Archer Fordham, the lawman from Red Dead Redemption. They share a very strong resemblance, with this obvious difference being age. Could Archer Fordham be this boy? And whatever has happened, this is why he becomes a lawman to get revenge on the Van der Linde gang. Anyway, back to the scene itself. Arthur's body language here says again so much about him. The way Arthur confidently and slowly steps towards the boy, with the boy backing off, shows how Arthur's personality is relentless. We're only 30 seconds into the trailer, and so far it's shown us so much about what type of person Arthur Morgan is.
On your behalf.
And here we have a close-up of the man himself, the main protagonist, and the only one it seems, Arthur Morgan. I've seen some people comment on Arthur's appearance saying he looks really old and he doesn't look as rough as John Marston. Arthur may not be as rough and scarred as John Marston, as he might be a more aware and cautious character who is more methodical with his actions. But if you do look closely at his chin, he does indeed have 2 scars. I'd also like to add about Arthur's age and say he's between his 30s and 40s. The facial animations displayed in this shot are just stunning, with the tiny detail to the eye movement and the voice matching up perfectly to his voice. Straight after the close-up of Arthur, we get the title of the game that one day we'll all get to play someday. Also, the logo for the game has changed from the number 2 on the end is now Roman numerals. I don't know why they have made this sudden change, but it does make sense since the majority of Rockstar game titles, the way they abbreviate the numbers are with Roman numerals, not numbers. We're suddenly thrown into this shot of several men wearing balaclavas, holding weapons and hiding in the tree line of a night while a train passes by. The first man we see is holding a revolver to his side, and to me shares some sort of resemblance to Javier Escuela from Red Dead Redemption. As we know, Javier Escuela was a member of the Van der Linde gang, so if the gang here is the Van der Linde gang, then this could be Javier. We can't say for sure that it is him, because his identity is masked away. Now we get to see the second guy now that was hiding behind the train, and since the camera has moved with the train, this man is readying his revolver and wearing a bowler hat. The bowler hat he's wearing could link this person to the person we see in the artwork and one of the screenshots that were released. Again, since we can't get a great look at him, we can't say for sure. The third man along shares the same look as Bill Williamson and probably is him, since the signature hat style Bill wears. Next to Bill is a man peeking around the tree, and while the train passes, it shines some light onto his clothing, showing he is wearing a blue jacket and holding a sawn off shotgun. Then finally there's this last guy also peeking around the tree, but we can't see much of him.
We got long.
As the train passes by all the masked men, we get this shot of it heading towards Arthur, as we can tell from the strings from his hat. Arthur in this scene is wearing a different jacket than the one we've seen previously, thus showing further customization with the character. As the train approaches, Arthur does not move, showing more of a badass he is, and he's the one stopping it and acting somewhat like the leader. When the train notices Arthur or whatever is on the track, it slams on its brakes, as you can see from the sparks flying from the track, which is so well detailed. From the shot before of the men and this, it appears that the men are preparing to stop and hijack this train. This scene shares a lot in common with the scene from the movie The Assassination of Jesse James, where a group of men have the same method and procedure of hijacking the train as the Van der Linde gang are doing here.
And in 3 different states after it.
Arthur is telling someone that they are wanted. They, possibly meaning the Van der Linde gang. Just looking at this shot, you can see the amount of detail in Arthur's jacket is insane. You can see tiny holes from long lasting wear, and from looking at the texture on the collar, you can almost look at it and feel it. Back to the train heist scene we just saw a moment ago, you can see Arthur and the gang have successfully stopped the train. The gang managed to stop the train by placing a stagecoach in the middle of the track. The train conductor has came off the train, and with this moment, Arthur smacks him down with his revolver. Behind Arthur in the background there are two other men from his gang approaching the train, probably both for crowd control or for some reason which is part of the plan. The man closest to Arthur behind him looks a little like the person I said shared resemblance with Javier Escuela, and furthest away is Bill Williamson from the signature Hat Curl. It's weird to see Bill Williamson following Arthur's orders and Bill being beneath someone. As we know, Bill Williamson had his own gang in Red Dead Redemption and was a ruthless psychopath, so to see him under the wing of our main protagonist Arthur is very interesting.
He's just from the west.
Here are three men riding up this hill on horses. We can't make out much of the scene as we can't see what the three men look like, but from their bowler hats and Arthur's dialogue, they appear to be lawmen. If we look into the sky, we can see the clouds forming into rain clouds or a storm, and this is a beautiful touch. Besides from the game instantly raining, we'll have some sort of indication if we look up.
Chase.
We've got 5 people riding horses through this amazing snow. Again, with Red Dead Redemption 2, there will be different areas with different climates. As we can see here, this is the snow region. The detail in how riding through the snow spreads the snow to one side and sits in the rest is very impressive. Arthur's dialogue over these shots speaks about being chased from the west. If you played Red Dead Redemption, you will know that the west is West Elizabeth, which consisted of areas of black water and tall trees. With Arthur saying this, it could further confirm from what we believe from the leaked map that the game will contain West Elizabeth, but will be mainly in the east. And with the leaked map having the same landmarks as the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer so far, we can safely say that the game will be based in the east. But with that question, why is Arthur and the Van der Linde gang, from what you believe, being chased from the west? Could it be that they have committed a terrible crime and this has made them wanted, from what the mysterious voice stated at the start of the trailer? From what reason, I'm sure we'll find out in due time, but it doesn't stop us from creating our own theories. I believe that in this shot that it is 5 men riding the horses and are all members of the Van der Linde gang. We can't make out who the front 3 riders are, but the back 2 we can. The character on the right is Bill Williamson since the signature hat, and I believe the person on the left is the oldest character we saw in the artwork and from one of the screenshots, who we still don't know the identity of yet. If we compare the oldest character from this snow scene to one of the screenshots brightened, we can tell both characters share the same body structure, hat and pants. We could say this is the same character, but there isn't enough to confirm it is.
East is over the mountains.
Straight away in this next scene from the trailer, Arthur is asking questions and grabs the man and launches him through this door. I'd like to say here that the light from outside beaming into this inside of this room is just gorgeous. Notice the attention to detail on the little things like the notes and books on the desk. Once Arthur is through the door, the bank teller now knows Arthur is not messing about and now follows through with Arthur's instructions by opening the door for him. So far in this entire trailer, we've seen Arthur wearing different jackets or none at all from the scene where he was talking to the boy, but he's always been wearing the same hat. Maybe we can customize the rest of Arthur, but his hat we cannot change as it is unique to his character. Looking into the background of the scene, we can see a telephone on the desk which gives us an indication of the time period in which Red Dead Redemption 2 is set. The telephone was created after 1881, so we can say that Red Dead Redemption 2 will be set in the time frame of 1881 and 1900. Red Dead Redemption was set in 1911, which could mean Red Dead Redemption 2 is set around 10 to 20 years ago before the original game. The sign on the door seems to be the name of the bank Arthur is breaking into, which is called Fitzgerald. Above the phone on the desk there is a picture hanging up on the wall with a person in the picture showing a resemblance to the bank teller opening the door for Arthur. Could this person Arthur is using to gain access to the security deposits be the bank owner? I'll leave that one for you to decide.
We'll need an extra gun.
In the next scene, Arthur is walking through this gang outpost from what it looks like with a Native American. We get the sense it's a gang outpost from how it's set up, and the people around it here look like outlaws. And of course, why else would Arthur be here? The meanest and baddest outlaw there is. Anyway, back to the Native American Arthur is walking with. We can say for sure that he is the Native American that is displayed in the artwork from his outfit and hairstyle. If you look closely into the background, once again we can see Bill Williamson with another person. So far in this trailer, we've seen Bill Williamson a bunch of times, and it feels like Bill will be playing a main part of the story and will be a close character to Arthur. Now we have, from what I believe, again 3 men around their horses, but we don't have a good look at the characters. Riding a horse in this game looks to be very realistic. With how the horse gallops, it will take a bit of the ground up and fling debris away. We have again Arthur being a total badass here, and this time accompanied with another outlaw jumping onto this moving train to board it. We can't say why they're jumping onto this train, but it's probably because they're either hijacking it or trying to steal something valuable from it. We can see also that it's raining slightly, which makes boarding this train difficult, with Arthur's companion nearly falling off.
This place.
We've got a different location now, and it looks to be some sort of train yard or mining settlement which is being built upon. Arthur is picking up this guy and throwing this man onto the wall, probably to gain information from him, or this is an action we can do to other characters, which would be very, very cool.
Ain't no such thing.
We have a real close look at a horse galloping, and oh my god, the amount of detail and work that have gone into the designing of the horses in this game is truly perfect. You can see the veins very prominent and the muscles flexing while the horse galloping, and the other amount of work, such as even the saliva, come from the horse's mouth to make it even look more realistic.
It's civilized.
From the voice that we've been hearing in the background, it now links up to this person, who's the one and only Dutch Vanderlyn. We can't exactly see the person's face as he's wearing a balaclava, but there is one detail that confirms it is Dutch himself. The revolver Dutch is holding here is the Schofield revolver, which was in Red Dead Redemption, and this weapon is based off a Smith & Wesson Model 3. Now if we look closely at the Schofield revolver, we can see an engraving design on it, which matches up with the same engraved Schofield revolver we've seen from one of the release screenshots. From this screenshot you can see a ring on the man's hand with the ring having a D on it, which more than likely stands for Dutch. This is possibly the same scene in which we saw the Vanderlyn gang and Arthur stopping the train. Another cool attention to detail here is the steam coming off Dutch's breath, indicating that it must be very cold. Here we've got Arthur being slammed down onto the floor by this big guy. It appears that a fight has broken out between the pair and they've got the town folks' attention. I'm hoping that this is a feature in the game and not part of a mission, that when you start a fight in a town, besides from lawmen coming after you, town folks will gather and watch you without disturbing the fight. As Arthur is slammed onto the floor, you can see his hat has fell off from the impact, which is also a similar feature to what appeared in a previous Rockstar game, L.A. Noire. This may indicate too that we can decide whether or not that we want Arthur to wear his hat in game. From the town we see in the background, this does not look like the town we've seen earlier or one we have seen so far. Closer analysis of the buildings in the background, we can see a barber's where the player could have the option to change Arthur's hairstyle and facial hair. We've also got another Rooms for Rent building which we can possibly purchase and use as a save point similar to Red Dead Redemption. Oh my god, we've got this poor pig has been attacked by this alligator lurking in the water. This displays how the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 is always alive. This scene, along with previous looks at Red Dead Redemption 2, shows that the game will feature a working ecosystem and animals will interact with each other in the correct way. I seriously can't say how much of a great job Rockstar have done on this game, and this is only our second trailer. We've still got plenty more to come in the next few months. Well, I hope so. Next we have Arthur being brave and walking through this bayou area where he is accompanied with 2 other companions. I can't identify who these 2 other people are, but it looks like Arthur and them are approaching this building ahead using stealth. Now seeing this has got me really excited because I'm hoping that in Red Dead Redemption 2 that when approaching the majority of missions that we can decide how to tackle them. We can either tackle them with either a full frontal assault like a true outlaw or with a stealth option we can see here. Stealth approaches will probably work out better for the ending outcome of this mission, but it has its negatives as we could probably be attacked by the alligators as we've seen from the last scene. Please, please Rockstar, I seriously hope you have stealth options for most missions in RDR 2. Arthur is hunting from what I believe here is an elk with a bow and arrow. This is something I definitely wanted in the game and something I theorized on a while back if the game would be a prequel. Now to see this in the game in action is great to see. We can also see that Arthur has arrows strapped onto him and we can see how many the character will have left before running out. Another little attention to detail here is if you look closely you can see leaves blowing through the air, which is just truly magnificent. Not much we can say here. It's a bear looking like it's going to attack someone, so it's best if you start running really quick.
You're the only
Now, something a lot of people are talking about and already becoming a favourite is this female character. This female character will possibly be playing a major part in the story since she has a unique part in the trailer. And what better way to introduce this female character with stabbing this guy in the hand. This is a girl you definitely don't want to mess with, and she won't stand for any shit. There are already plenty of speculations out there of people saying that this woman is Abigail Marston, and it definitely isn't her. Abigail Marston and this female character both have different facial structures, eye colours and hair colours, so it definitely isn't the same person. I understand that this game will be a prequel to Red Dead Redemption, but not every character we see is someone younger from the first game. I'll support all 30s if there is sufficient evidence supporting it, but again, this is not Abigail. Now, I wanted to talk about the guy to the right of this female character, who looks very similar to one of the men we seen earlier from the train robbery scene. Both characters share a bowler hat, and also to add that in one of the screenshots, this character shares a resemblance to this person. Could this be the same person? It's not enough to say it is, but it's not enough to say no, but I'd like to have your input in the comment section below. What do you think, guys? Now, the reaction on this guy's face from being stabbed in the hand looks almost perfect. Again, there are plenty of people already saying that this is Bill Williamson, but as I have already said plenty of times in this breakdown so far, that we can identify Bill by his unique hat with the curl.
One of these fools that I trust.
We have a close-up of the female character here, and it shows you how beautiful the facial animations in this game will be. If you look closely, this female character has a scar on her right eye again, supporting that she is possibly an outlaw, because what other reason why she have a scar above her right eye? But we can't say for sure if she is a member of the Van der Linde gang. However, we could connect this female character to the female character in the first trailer rather than with this posse. Then again, both these characters are wearing two different tops, but the chances of more than one female lead character is very small. So I would say that both female characters in both trailers are the same person. From a piece of dialogue, it seems that whoever she's speaking to, who we assume is Arthur, that they have a strong connection and they can trust one another. Maybe Arthur isn't this badass anti-hero from what we've seen from the trailer so far, and maybe this is what Rockstar want us to think. Back to the train scene in which Arthur and his fellow partner were jumping onto, was shortly after his partner was falling off. Here we can see Arthur helping his partner up. Who this character is, we don't know yet, but he does look either black or Hispanic from his skin colour that we see briefly here before Arthur pulling him up. If I was to match this person up to someone in the trailer so far, it would be one of these two characters from the train scene we saw earlier, but that's just a wild guess. Arthur is using the well-known lasso to lasso this demonic meme horse who's gained quite the following from the trailer. Using the lasso on a horse will possibly be a similar feature to the one in Red Dead Redemption, where we used to catch wild horses and break them in order to lock them as a mount. Also take note of the building in the background, as we will be coming back to this very shortly.
Where's our money?
Arthur has hold of this man, demanding, "Where's our money?" And again, a brilliant impression, but our money? This could mean it's not Arthur's money, but the Van der Linde gang money, more specifically Dutch's money. So far from this trailer, there has been this strong theme of collecting or finding money, which seems to be very important to the story. Personally, this could be a major part to the story. Maybe the Van der Linde gang have been double-crossed by one of their own, or someone has stolen their money. Arthur again is holding a man from behind and driving his knife into his neck. Poor guy. This will possibly be an action we can perform to stealthily take down enemies, again supporting the fact that this game will have a stealth element to it. This will possibly be an action we can perform to stealthily take down enemies, again supporting the fact that stealth will be playing a part in this game. We're back to the bank scene now, and Arthur is walking away from the exploding security deposits like a badass. I'm guessing he's used some sort of gunpowder fuse to blow open the security deposits. From what it looks like, Arthur is holding a repeater carbine, which again appeared in Red Dead Redemption. This weapon is based off the Spencer model 1865 carbine. Now just look how cool Arthur looks here, dual wielding two Cattleman revolvers and firing away. The Cattleman revolver appeared in Red Dead Redemption and is based off the Colt M1892. Also, a really impressive detail here is when Arthur fires his Cattleman revolvers, he closes one of his eyes for better aiming and shooting. This poor guy is about to get a rifle butt into his face. The detail to the person on the floor is great, with him being very skinny and veins showing through his arms. Just shows us that this person is probably very fragile and that this rifle butt is gonna completely destroy his skull.
Do you have my bag?
Finally, we get a full look at our main man, Dutch van der Linde. Dutch looks a lot younger than what he did in Red Dead Redemption, and his overall style has changed to him, with him looking very, very smart here. This looks like a time in Red Dead Redemption history where Dutch was an established, successful outlaw leading the legendary van der Linde gang. He's probably very financially well from what it looks like from his outfit. He's possibly living the rich life due to the banks and people that the gang has robbed. We can also notice the 2 rings on Dutch's right hand that we saw from one of the screenshots which was released. One of the rings with the letter D, possibly standing for Dutch, and the other ring is a lion. Trailer straight away cuts to the spectacular scene where these 3 men are walking away from the burning building. The burning building in the background is the same building from the scene where Arthur was lassoing the wild horse. The men we can tell are Bill Williamson due to the unique hack, and he is holding a bolt action rifle. Arthur on the other side, and the man in the middle, I believe, is the legendary man, John Marston. Now, I don't want to go into too much of why I think this is John Marston, because I will be doing a separate breakdown on him in another video. But for now, here are a few points why I think this is John. Red Dead Redemption 2 is set around 10 to 20 years before the events of Red Dead Redemption, so of course John Marston is going to look a hell of a lot younger. The outfit looks very similar to the one he wore in Red Dead Redemption, with the pinstripe pants, the rolled up shirt sleeves, and also the waistcoat. Again, as I mentioned, I will leave the rest of my theory for another video.
Always, Dutch.
Then here we have Arthur pledging his trust to Dutch, further confirming that Arthur is part of the van der Linde gang. It's very weird that in Red Dead Redemption there is no mention of Arthur whatsoever, or a person who seems to be him. Again, with the John theory, I will leave this for a separate video too. Then the final scene in the trailer is Arthur riding this horse and shooting someone who must be on the floor. I wouldn't be able to tell you what revolver Arthur is using here, but if I was to guess, it does look similar to the dual action revolver which was in Red Dead Redemption.
Product not yet rated.
And then finally, in cuts, Red Dead Redemption 2 Spring 2018. And there you have it, that was my Red Dead Redemption 2 full trailer breakdown. As I mentioned quite a lot within this video, I will be leaving some information to go more into for the separate video. But I think I went into near enough everything I possibly could have commented on in the whole trailer. I hope this gave you a lot more information on what we can expect from Red Dead Redemption, and also you noticed some of the secrets that were hidden in the trailer. It would help out massively if you could support myself and this video and smash that like button and hit the subscribe button, because this breakdown took me a very long time to put together. So guys, that's all I have to say for you today. I should keep you all informed on any new information which is worth mentioning in future videos. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the new Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer and some of the information I stated in this full breakdown. And if you want to see more fresh content, hit that subscribe button. And guys, thank you very much for watching. I love your faces, and I'll see you in the next one.